All right. Hello, Sherri. How you doing
I
today?
am excellent. How are you?
Good, good, good. We're here at the Supersonic press room each and every year. Y'all know what it is here. Sherri, a new face here for you. First time in this room?
No, but first time in a while. I haven't been here since before pandemic.
Yeah,
So I don't. Yeah.
The blip that
Yes.
is. But welcome back.
Thank you so much.
One of my favorite press rooms, and just because I just really appreciate what composers bring to film and to television. Just for you and being around so many other talented folks, how has it been, even over the years, reflecting back? How's this experience been for you?
It's that's a great question because I feel like every year, the talent that comes out, the people, and everyone's got new projects. So it's like, oh wow, I'm such a huge fan of your show and that project and that movie. It's just really exciting. Yeah. So I'm like, oh, I'm joining the ranks, and I keep sticking in the ranks. I must be doing something right. I feel like.
And overall, how's your Comic-Con experience been so far?
It's been great. It's been fantastic. Yeah, it's really great to see a lot of the fans. I've been here in the past when I've been a part of shows like Batwoman and a lot of the shows in the Arrowverse, Legends of Tomorrow, Supergirl, and even Blind Spot, like from a long time ago. It's and so I feel like just even over the years, when you come to Comic-Con, you see fans dressing up as the characters in the shows that you're scoring, or you're seeing the big billboards and the big posters. It's a really fantastic experience because it's like, oh yeah, what we're doing all those nights and days of working alone in our studio is really, it's doing something. It's resonating. We're telling stories, and people are watching and they're listening and they're being moved. Yeah. That's great.
Yeah, you bring up Arrowverse too. Into an era, obviously a very sad time, but a very amazing time of television. You being a part of that with Batwoman here. Just reflecting back on your time on this show, what were some of the special moments in just seeing your work, or should I say, hearing your work on television, and just the legacy of what that show and overall what Arrowverse has meant for you?
Yeah, the entire it's right. It's like Arrow. It's like it launched all of these shows, which I just wanted to go on record saying I'm not taking credit for having designed that side of the show. That was Blake Neely, and I got a chance to work with him and just be a part of his camp for a while. And so, but it's fantastic though, because I feel like what was so great about even like Greg Berlanti and all of those productions is that he was always pushing boundaries. He put like the first gay kiss on television. He put he's hiring just like diversity, and not just in ethnic diversity but gender diversity as well, and that's huge. And I feel like that's a huge responsibility of Hollywood, to be honest. We have to normalize those things. Like I worked on a show called Kung Fu that was like a reboot of the old one, and it's like kind of fixing some things that maybe we don't do anymore, and really putting, again, she was like I think that was the first hour-long network drama that had like a predominantly Asian cast.
It absolutely was. Yeah.
And I think that's and to be at the, I don't want to say forefront, but to be certainly like on those like front lines in that way is I'm pretty fortunate. I mean, it's kind of an honor.
Yeah, amazing show. My camera guy actually probably would have loved to talk about that at a point. We covered that and everything on the CW.
Yeah.
Talking about projects, and also with that importance about diversity and inclusion. How do you sort of approach when you have projects? How do you sort of approach knowing that you also want to tell messages and stories about the things that we need to see more within your work?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, the writers are really, really great at that kind of thing. But in terms of the composing, I mean, certainly on Kung Fu, there was like something that I wanted to do was, I wanted to add sort of an ethnic flavor. I wanted to add a Chinese culture, and I specifically like Chinese drums and Chinese instruments. I worked with an erhu player, but there's still also that kind of thing where you want to make it for everybody, that kind of thing. So I think it was, again, it's an honor to do it. I don't say that lightly, or
right.
It sounds kind of cheesy when composers say that, but it really is though, because people, you don't realize that, we're in Hollywood, so we get it. We're like, oh, we've seen how the sausage is made, we see behind the curtain.
Yeah.
But that magic is not lost in like the far-reaching areas or just different cities and different, people that are just not in our industry.
Yeah.
And that magic is still there. So yeah, it's an important role. I think that, just in terms of navigating like what I call sort of cultural specificity, I do think it's important to bring in people that are like really know what they're doing, the actual players of those actual those instruments, and really work with them and learn from them. And so I think it's just like a really, really important part of the process. Certainly in mine, especially working with live musicians is great. I think it's like what I'm always trying to do.
Yeah.
But having that authenticity there, I think, is important. Do your research.
Yeah.
Like
you bring up something. This is really a wild card question with really no research or anything. But obviously you're not only still a student of the game, but also a professor at it as well, as you are. Speaking about importance in certain narratives that we need to increase visibility for. Does AI play a picture within, or should I say, pose a threat within your profession?
I think it's obviously very early, right? I mean, for those of us in the creative industry, it's really early, and I think there is a lot of fear about AI. I think because what is it going to replace? What's it going to take away from me? What's it going to threaten? And I think because of that, there is that fear. I mean, I personally have that fear. I'm like, oh well, what does that mean? Part of my job gets eaten up in the process, or do I have to go now chase somebody putting in the correct, just the words? It's like I feel like what composers are doing, like we've got a skill set. Some of us have gone to school for it. Some of us have certainly studied, and if we haven't gone to school in a formal training way, we've certainly been, as you said, like a student of the game, of the industry and everything. And so I do think that there's that fear, but I do think it can be and probably will be a useful tool. And it's definitely one of those things that I personally would want to just, if anything, know my enemy, keep my enemy closer.
Absolutely.
And see, because honestly, through every aspect of the industry and even of our lives, there's been that new technology that comes out, and we're all like, no, and back in my day, we didn't do that.
That's old folks.
Exactly, and then we become those. We're like, no, that's scary. We don't want to do that, and it is scary. But I think having conversation, learning about it, I'm hoping it's going to be a tool and not something that we have to fear.
I just wanted to bring it up because, again, just musicians is something that, yes, you can be educated in, but I like to always say that composer musicians, they vibrate in the world much differently than everybody else, and every sound is something that resonates to a future project or a future idea. And to start to take away that artistry because of what AI is doing, it's scary to me. This music all of a sudden start to sound the same because it's not being resonated from this organic place of what composers have. And to think that could be a possibility is scary. But as you said, if there's a learning aspect to utilize this in a way, then that also could be interesting.
Yes, coming with a little bit of curiosity, but I think skepticism is okay. I think we have to, as you said. I mean, we're artists, and I think notoriously our country doesn't always respect and value the arts as much as this is turning into like a political. You can strike this one. No, but I do wonder sometimes. I'm like, where do we fall in the valuing of arts and crafts? And I feel like, so I feel like we got to know it, but then we also have to, just kind of feel it out and see what happens.
Absolutely. So anything you may be able to talk about that you're working on coming down the pipeline?
Let's see. Gremlins season 2 has been greenlit, so we're in production for that. I have a show coming out, I think sometime in the fall. It's on NBC called Found.
Okay.
So it might be one of it might do really well. It's a really great show actually, but it also might do well just because we might be starved for some narrative work out there by that time, and then I do have a fun rom-com coming out at the end of this month, in several days actually. It's coming out on the 27th in 1 week on Netflix. It's called Happiness for Beginners.
Happiness for Beginners. I think, did that come out? We'll obviously keep an eye out for that.
I'm trying to. I don't know if people are. I don't know if we're publicizing it. I don't know if we're really allowed to. But in any case, it's a great movie, and it's based on a book by Catherine Center with the same name, Happiness for Beginners, and has Ellie Kemper and Luke Grimes, and directed by Vicky White. And it's really fantastic.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll be seeing you back each and every year.
I know.
No more hiatus.
I know, exactly, right? Come back every year. Thanks so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much. Absolutely.